Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Astroneer with your friend Kuros Paladin. And you can see I had a little fun in my Missions 7 save. So, two things. One, I did not realize the sun was going to be rising just as I started recording this, so it's a little bit on the bright side. When I started getting everything set up, it was nighttime and it was nice and dark and it looked really cool. Now it's like really washed out. But anyhow, uh, second thing, why am I doing another prior save video? It's just really difficult to get Chuck and Todd on the same schedule. And last week, I know I promised a new episode. The holiday got in the way, as well as some personal things got in the way. Not excuses, they're reasons. I really do try to get stuff out every week, but real life does interfere. This is something I do for fun, and I really do hope that you appreciate the effort that goes into these, and I do hope you enjoy these videos. For all of my people that subscribed and viewers, thank you so much. I do love the fact that there are people out there that enjoy watching these. At least I hope you enjoy watching them. I read all the comments. There's not a lot to read, so comment. Let me know what you think in the comments. I hate when I hear people say, let me know what you think in the comments below. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to break the algorithm for YouTube. And then they have, even I used to do it. I had Kuros wander over and whack the like button and such. I've given up on that because if you truly like what you see, excellent, hit like. If you really do want to subscribe, subscribe. And of course, if you want to know about new stuff, get the notifications. There, I said it. I'm trying to break the algorithm, right? So, this is that Save 7 that I showcased last episode, 30X. I only get so many of these each season, so I hope I don't run out. But if I hit 39X, I'll just do the hexadecimal thing and I'll do 3AX. How's that? So, this sign is something that I actually built between episodes. I've actually played this particular save a lot since I recorded 30X, which was 2 weeks ago. A lot of stuff has happened in this save. This sign is one of them. It hit me. I don't remember what it was. Actually, I think I remember what it was. So, I really enjoy Emperor's New Groove, the movie, Disney animated film. It is just so irreverent and funny, and Yzma is such an over-the-top character, and Eartha Kitt does such an amazing performance with the character. When I got Disney Plus, very recently I saw there was a series called Emperor's New School. This series not all that great, but there was one episode where Yzma decides to go to Hollywood and pursue a career over in Hollywood. She gives up on her evil schemes to throw Kuzco out. And she comes back at the end of the episode, and Kronk asks, so how'd it go? And I can't remember her response, but it just cut to her standing and looking at a sign that just says nothing yet, in the same style as the Hollywood sign. And I loved it because it's like, yeah, okay, well, this is based how many centuries ago in Peru? Hollywood didn't exist back then. And that kind of triggered this idea about the Hollywood sign. So I did this. I also put this sign up in another one of my saves. I may have even shown it off at one point. But anyhow, I just took 5 of the figurine platforms, a lot of floodlights, and had to be very careful with these platforms, getting them up here. You can see it is ever so slightly concave, just to kind of give that appearance. This hole is leading down to something else that I plan to do in the future with this sign that may be more than just a static sign. But I don't know. I've been playing around in the I have a creative mode save where I play with ideas animating the sign, as it were. And it requires a lot more than what's going on here, because you'll see I only put floodlights that's lit. My intent is to use each platform, all 64 of the spaces on there. That will be a lot more floodlights. And remember, this save that I'm in right now is not a creative mode save. This is an adventure mode, which means I have to craft each and every one of these floodlights, or find them. You can find them laying around. And then what's going on underneath the controls, the guts. If we sneak around the back of the sign, you can see all that going on. Our little super secret entrance right down here. There are going to be a whole bunch of delay repeaters and button repeaters down here, as well as a couple other things. Believe it or not, this is all powered by the same power network that runs throughout the entire planet. So I actually do have extenders coming all the way up here. Not too far, because I already had extenders to these 2 wind turbines up here. So all I really had to do was just extend from the wind turbine. I just had to go down there. So that's all that really had to be added. You can see it there. It is over there too. Grab a little bit of sniff the rose, as it were. So what does it look over? Well, it looks over that Twin Knights base. If we look over here, you can see Twin Knights clearly, and I got a lot of complaints from the wildlife, the plants up here, about how bright it is, and yeah, it is a little bright, isn't it? Those bounce vines don't get any sleep. But there's Twin Knights way over there. So I can see my name in lights to a point, because in adventure mode, the rendering distance, even at maximum, is not that great. In creative mode, you can actually put terrain anchors down, which allow those items to retain their detail at a far distance. In adventure mode, you don't have that option. It's all based on your settings. And this is about as far away as I can get from the sign. If I back up a little bit more, you'll see it. Well, it's going to make a liar of me now, isn't it? There we go. So the lights go away. So unfortunately, you only see it from this point or closer. But still, that's not bad. So I wanted to show off that, as I said, I've also done a lot of extra work in this save, particularly over on Glazio. And it occurred to me I never showed off any of the other bases in this particular save, such as the one over on Di Solo. So I figured, why not? This will be a good filler. I really hope I can get some new content out next week. I wanted to put together an episode that we do have recorded. We recorded it way back at the end of March. That's how long ago it has been since we all got together to play. I was only able to sit down and start doing renders this weekend, and I just didn't have time. I'm only about halfway through editing that particular episode. It takes about 4 hours to go through that entire thing. And I know I said I played this save a lot since the last time. So yeah, that was the other distraction, is this particular save. I get lost in this game. And when I say lost, I do mean that. I lose track of time. I'll be sitting here, I'll sit down, get home from the office. I hate doing this because it's not a good thing. I get home from the office, eat dinner, take care of a couple of chores around the house, sit down at maybe 7 o'clock, start playing, and then I look up at the clock, and now it's midnight, and I've just been playing 5 hours straight. We all should be mindful of how much time we play these games. And that's one of the things that I do poorly, is manage my time with these games. I don't want to bring a downer here, but we do have to remember how these are only games, and we do have to remember to not lose sight of the outside world and our responsibilities outside. And one of those responsibilities are all the other chores that I have to take care of here, some personal issues that cropped up, some that were beyond my control, as well as my promise that I made to everybody out there to have new content every week, which I dropped the ball on. So let's go ahead. I'm going to head off to DeSolo and show off that base. It's not very, there's not a lot there, but it's just another one of these things that I'm kind of proud of that I put together. Um, so, another thing that I've been doing in this particular save, I have a lot of ammonium now, probably around 700 or so ammonium, and I'm starting to slowly put together a large amount of hydrazine so that it is always available nearby at each landing pad on every planet. That way I shouldn't ever run into any issues with fuel. So, alright, so we're going to head off to DeSolo. Other things that I've done in this save between, in those 2 weeks. Glazio, I wrapped the planet with rail, so it goes all the way around. I found an ammonium deposit over there on Glazio that I am using to create all this hydrazine. I had some fun cleaning up Glazio, getting rid of a lot of the scrap, because over on Glazio, that's pretty much my second place that I pretty much hang out because it has just about everything there, and I use scrap to trade for just about everything else that I can't get to. Gases are the only limitation on there, where I can't get hydrazine, methane, nitrogen, all that stuff. So here is the DeSolo base. Not a lot to look at. Not a lot to look at all. Why? I don't spend a lot of time on DeSolo. I really don't. The only time I wander over to DeSolo is, hey, I need some sphalerite, or that's pretty much it. I need sphalerite. The last time I came over here was I had not yet unlocked the core of DeSolo. So I do have my typical set, if I don't get stuck on my buggy there, my typical rail station, so I have it on a siding. This, whatever spire was already here, I just built around it and actually went through it as well. In the middle of all of that is a little platform because it does split, because on top of that is I can put solar panels up there. There's only one right now. Solar panels, not as a big thing on DeSolo because, of course, you just don't get a lot of sunlight. So DeSolo is mostly powered via RTGs. But because this is such a small planet, actually, let's get this thing going since it can just take care of itself while I'm showing everything off. So we'll just go ahead, we'll drop that off there, let that pick up. I'm curious how much it gets. Yeah, about 1,000. Okay. So let's go ahead. I'm going to show a tour of the rail network that just goes around the moon, not the planet. So here we go. This is one of those ones where, oh, and by the way, I picked a really good starting spot. I did see this from orbit, so that's why I picked that as a landing pad, or as a base, because it's right next to the lunar, the LEM. So, it's been 60, how many years now? It was 69, right? Yeah. So it's been quite a few years. Why does 69 not sound right? It had to have been 69. Anyhow, I wasn't alive yet, but I was almost. So, there you go. You now know. I think I mentioned I'm an old fart. So, so I more or less followed the equator, but I followed the terrain where I could, and also did go ramrod straight in a lot of places. I found 2 of these wrecked solar arrays here on DeSolo. Again, they don't really provide a lot of power on DeSolo, but what the heck, every little bit of power helps. So I set it on top of this thing that was already here, this little outcrop. Just set it up there, hooked it up, and when it gets power, it gets power. Yeah, it gets power for about 2 minutes a day. But then continuing on, there's also the yellow. I use yellow. You can sort of see over here. I usually use yellow to indicate the probes. So you can see there's the probe on DeSolo. So it worked out pretty well that it was near where I actually was laying track. And one of the things I also do on each planet is I go around and I pick up as much of the debris that I can find to get rid of it. Just kind of, my environmentally conscious thing. Especially now that we know what the debris is there, why the debris is there. So, what the debris is there? That doesn't even make sense. So, yeah, not a lot to really show off. Here's where I was just, going around various craters as opposed to going through or over them. You saw a black beacon over there off to the right. That is an abandoned landing pad that I might take advantage of in the future. It is almost on the opposite side of the planet. And then here, of course, is the other wrecked solar panel that I discovered. There's the abandoned landing pad that I might take advantage of in the future. And then I have no idea why I veered so far off here. It might be because I am going back to the other base, because the base on this planet, actually, you know what, that is not an equatorial railroad, because really it's kind of like a teardrop. The base itself is at the South Pole, so really this just goes in a circle from the North Pole to one gateway chamber to another gateway chamber and then back to the South Pole. So it really, I called it an equatorial. It isn't. It does not go all the way around the planet. And we're just going to come in, and this is when we come in, it will be a junction that leads to the underworld. The underworld, not a lot to show down there. The idea is every level down has a junction, so I can split off and go to resources if I find them down there. This one, it does go all the way to the core of the planet, though, or of the moon. This isn't a planet, this is a moon. So, you know what? I'll grab that. So, I don't know why I left those dagger roots there. They're kind of dangerous, but oh well. So there's DeSolo. This is the field shelter you get as a reward. So I don't actually have a full shelter on this moon yet. But I really don't have much need here. I have a smelter, I have a soil extractor, I have printers, and I have a research chamber. That's all I really need here. There are no gases on DeSolo. So, to be honest, I wouldn't be doing a lot of compound stuff with the chemistry lab. I wouldn't be doing any atmospheric condenser, or atmospheric gas collection, because there isn't any. What else do I need on this planet? Moon, not a planet. But it's a place to come if you need sphalerite. Graphite you can usually find sometimes in good quantities as well, but overall, DeSolo, not really a necessary planet. So, I keep calling it a planet. It's a moon. The game calls it a planet too, but anyhow. So, let's head over to Glazio. I want to show a little bit more of what I've done over there. If I can find, there we go. As I said, I have extended the rail network. It does go all the way around the planet now. I have also gone to the core of this planet. Oh, what's going off? There we go. I have made it to the core of this planet and unlocked its engine. Only 3 planets have I unlocked their engines so far. DeSolo, Silva, and Glazio. The others, I haven't even made it to their cores yet. So, what has changed over here? Not a lot. I cannot remember if I had this little siding where I can store stuff. I had Kadef, if you remember Kadef from my long ago plays. I was showing him how to use the alignment mod and how you can do stuff like this, so that's why this is here. I really don't know what else I might be able to show you. Like I said, I'm really sorry I didn't have any new saves. Way over here, I cannot remember if I had this ammonium auto extractor running at the time, but it has finished its job for now. But I'm going to just leave it there so that in the future, if I need more ammonium, it's sitting here and ready to go. So it has, if I just pick it up and drop it back down, it just resets itself. And I really hope they never fix that. I really do, because, yeah, I just hope they don't. Is it a cheat exploit? Yes, it is. But let's be honest, auto extractors, their very concepts are exploits in the first place. So, as far as the base itself, I think I added one more platform. Oh, I did go around and unlock around 30 of the Exo Research Aid things and brought back the research that was inside them. They're 7,400 bytes each. As you can see, that has allowed me to get quite the collection of bytes. Do I need this many? No. Why do I like to have this many? Well, the limited time events usually cost 500 bytes per load that you send off. Who knows what more blueprints they will introduce in the future. Why not? If you can just set them all down and have it suck them up automatically, just go for it, right? Also, with all of those Exo Research Aids, I brought back a lot of their... Actually, I took the shredder around to the rest of the planet, or most of it, and shredded what I could find to get, at this point, 284 scrap. I just threw this on the back of a rover, this on the back of a rover, 4 RTGs, so I knew I had more than enough power, and just went around the planet and shredded what I could. It was long and boring. But the the freight modules that are for the Snowpiercer mission, I think it is, those are worth 3 scrap each. They do take 90 seconds each, though, to shred. But when you pull up to a site with 5 of them, hey, that's 15 scrap right there, plus all the other little things that you find around there. Can get you about 23 scrap out of the entire deal. So do the world a favor, go out, clean up the place, and get some scrap for it in return. Because here on Glacio, like I said, this is my second most common place that I hang out. And, I mean, yeah, I can get hematite, titanium, aluminum, resin, compound, graphite, ammonium, quartz, soil, organic. I can get all those just by wandering around. But hey, I need malachite. I need sphalerite. That's what the trade platform is for. For the compound stuff, I actually did that. I wanted... I can't remember what it was. I actually did get a fault finder, and I forgot, oh no, it's more than just building the fault finder. You then have to go out and do the little thing where you pick up each and every one of the things, and oh my gosh, it was a lot of work for something that I could have just bopped back to Silva for and got it. In fact, if I go over here and look at fault finders, oh, what was it that I was after? No. Silicone. No, was it silicone? I think it was silicone. I'm pretty certain it was silicone. And yeah, it just it wasn't worth the effort. The reason I did that is I didn't have methane, and you need methane to make silicone. And then I got 2 silicone. Yeah, there's the other one. Because all I wanted was a paver. I just wanted a paver. So I did create an equatorial road, more or less. You can see it right there, and then it veers off that way a little bit. Because I couldn't figure out how to serve this base with a road. I kind of hemmed myself in. There's this area that these guys own, so I can't go there. The rail is here. There's not a lot of space to bring a road in. Over here is this hill, so I kind of messed up getting the equatorial road to go through the base. It might actually go under the base. We'll see if I do that in the future. I don't know if I pointed these out last time. I do try to, just for fun, collect when I can. I found this one way down in the depths. I believe that's diamond. And I think that has the precious Lego brick research item inside it. I'm kind of treating this like, the Boba Fett figure that's still in its mint packaging. So that's my, action figure that I don't want to open the packaging, as it were. Going around the planet, I didn't show off that last time. And we're almost out of time here. Hey, I'm trying to fill time and also show people what it is that I do in a lot of these saves. If you like what you see, let me know. Let me know if you have questions. In fact, there we go. Somebody posted a question. How do I use the alignment mod to create the flat areas? So I can show that. But I'll also explain it while traveling, and you can enjoy the scenery while I'm explaining. You can see the road off to the left there. So the best thing to do with the alignment mod to make a flat surface, and when I say flat, I'm talking about to the plane of gravity, not a plane that is flat. Because if you do a flat plane on any one of these planets within about 100 feet scale, they turn into a ball. Gravity goes to the center of the sphere. Your plane sits flat on that sphere. So the gravity is going to pull in, and it's going to look a little bit different. And you'll see it looks like you're in a giant bowl, even though it is flat. Oh, by the way, here I created a hover bridge. I had a lot of fun with this. I didn't want to go down into the crater or the ravine or whatever, so I just went straight over it. I had fun with that one. So the best thing to do is you just the alignment mod, put it right at your little guy's feet, although I don't always go at his feet. But that's probably the safest place to go, right at his feet, and just go out about 5 or 10, if that's a big number, 5 or 8 steps out in each direction from his feet. And then if you want to do a hexagonal pattern, actually, you know what, we're going to stop here really quick. If you want to do a hexagonal pattern, go for it. That's too much work for me. But then I just go another 5 or 8 feet in one direction and start flattening from there. And then I'll go another 5 or 8 feet and just keep flattening out in each of those. You get a more or less flat surface. So it works out fairly good to give you a nice flat surface that doesn't look like a bowl, because your little guy, he's going to want to stand perpendicular, or would it be parallel? Whatever, he wants to stand with his feet on a vertical line where his head and his feet are on a direct line to the center of the planet. And that becomes very pronounced if you go out on a plane. And you also end up with all your platforms looking like everything's on an angle. It looks like you took a a photograph with a very wide field of view. It doesn't work out quite as well aesthetically. Also, when you use the alignment mod and put these little bits in like that, it gives the ground sort of a little bit of a rough look to it, so it doesn't look so sterile. It doesn't look like it's been polished smooth. I mean, even though this right here that you're looking at all around here was generated by the procedure, it just looks really, I don't know how to describe it. It looks really Spartan, sanitized almost. So by putting those little bits in, and they are a little bit off, it makes it just look a little bit more realistic. So using that alignment mod, I like doing it. I'm really proud of this little stretch right here because I like those little rock gardens, as the game calls them. And I didn't want to destroy it, so I went all the way around it instead. Here on Glacio, I did not put stations at each of the gateway chambers. By the way, prior video I was calling them engines. I know the difference between a gateway engine and a gateway chamber. Those of you that have watched me long enough, I have I substitute words that I shouldn't on a regular basis. Milepost versus rail post. I know an engine versus a chamber. Chamber is on the surface, an engine is at the center, an engine drives things. So anyhow, there aren't stations at each of the chambers. So going through here, I followed terrain. Here's a hint when you're laying out rails. Know where you're going. What I do with my rails when I am building is actually I have the train follow me. So I have this train on the track as I'm building it. This happens in real life. The work train will follow along on the track that's being built. By the way, there was my little mini Epcot, if you remember it from before. So have the train follow you. Have on the train plenty of aluminum, plenty of resin, a small printer, the alignment mod, and beacons. So what are beacons good for? Survey your route. Don't just start laying, oh hey, there I can see the gateway chamber in the distance there. You can see that shaft of light. You can see that shaft of light. What you might not realize is there's a giant mountain in the way or a huge ravine. Then you have to plan, how do I get around, over, under, whatever this thing. Think about how you're going to lay out your rail. Do you want to follow the terrain? Do you just want to ramrod straight? There's no wrong way to do it. How do you want to do it? So I take beacons along. I survey the route. I send my little guy out. You can find enough oxygen tanks laying around, but if you take enough resin with you, you can just build the oxygen filters as well. Send them out. Look for a path that works. Drop a trail of beacons. And now you're building to each of those beacons. Pick them back up, of course, as you get to them, and then use them to survey the next whatever 30 mile, I was about to say milepost, next 30 or so rail posts. Survey your route out more than just what you can see to the horizon. Because to be honest, these are small planets. You don't see the horizon very far. Yeah, here I did go I say ramrod straight, and then if you look, it does curve just ever so slightly. It bugs me, but I'm not fixing it. Right here at this milepost, it curves ever so slightly to the left there. Oh well. But yeah, you can do that. There's no wrong way to do it. No wrong way to do it. Do what you want to do, but it helps to, even if you go ramrod straight, it helps to have those beacons, because it gives you an idea. Hey, where am I building? Where am I building to? Maybe you do find a point of interest that you want to veer off to. Drop a beacon down. The other good thing about taking beacons, let's say you do find a point of interest that you want to come back to later. Drop that beacon down so that you can come back to it later. You find a wrecked solar array. You find an abandoned landing pad. You find, I've found these. In fact, if you remember back on to Solo, the giant solar array on top of the little spike there, not the wrecked ones, the one at the home base there. You might be asking, why did you build a large solar array for De Solo? I didn't. I found that on De Solo, so I used it. So take the train along with you, as well as load it up with the small printer, aluminum, resin beacons, the small printer, so you can print more rail posts or junctions. And another thing you may have noticed, I do. I like to sort of maintain elevation. Now, I know it's not perfect, and this here isn't intentional. This here, way over here, about 4 mileposts in, that wasn't intentional. I didn't want to dip and then go back up, but that's what happened. But you'll see I more or less tried to stay level. Don't be afraid to mix up regular rail posts with tall rail posts. They are a great way to cover those sudden terrain changes, terrain height changes, or terrain elevations, yet maintain your rail height, your rail elevation. But build your rails how you want to. These are just suggestions that I have. I guess what I'll do is I'll end by showing off what I do with the terrain alignment mod. Wow, I have a hard time. By the way, you can see right there I have a beacon and some rail posts and such. I don't have the aluminum and resin there anymore because I don't need it on this planet. I don't plan on doing any more extensive rail building. By the way, you may have noticed right over here, right after I left this base, past that gateway chamber, you saw a turnout to the right and then a turnout to the left. Those lead to each of the poles on the planet. So I picked this up just because these are worth a good amount of scrap. So I want that was a poor choice to put that there. I do that more often than I really like to. So all right. So I would like to show off how do I do the alignment mod. So I'm going to come back over to here where I was showing Kadef how to use the alignment mod. So there's the vertical and the horizontal method. I don't know what else you would call it. Lateral, and I don't even know what I don't know. But the horizontal, which is where you're creating a plane perpendicular to gravity, and then the vertical, where you're creating a plane parallel with the vertical, parallel to the pole of gravity. All right. Important thing, you gotta have it equipped, you gotta have it turned on. So make certain that green is there. You can use F to turn it on and off. Make certain you got it turned on. 99% of you probably already knew that, but anyhow. So when you have your terrain tool out, you'll see you have your usual 3 options: down, horizontal, and up. So down and horizontal are very straightforward. If I were to hit this, it's just going to go straight down. It doesn't matter where I move the mouse from here, it just goes straight down. Same thing with up. Once you hit it, it just goes straight up no matter what I move. So that's really good to get yourself fairly, if you're looking to get a column, that's a good way to do it. In fact, long ago I was trying to recreate a southern style plantation. This was way back before 1.0, and I don't think the alignment mods existed back then. I do not think they existed, and I couldn't believe, even though this doesn't look that good, how difficult it was before the alignment mod to just get a more or less straight column. It really wasn't that easy. Next, the horizontal, or whatever, flatten, whatever you want to call this. Just make certain, and by the way, you use V as in Victor to just toggle. And that way you don't have to hold down a key, aside from the mouse button, or if you're on a controller. I don't know the controller. I use keyboard, so V Victor is what does that. Put it right at his feet, and then just go ahead and spread out. So this is creating, at the height that he was standing, a flat plane. Now, this is a plane. If I were to continue this out in this direction, it will continue to have that same thing as if though I was creating, off of a flat try. This doesn't follow the planet's gravity. So it will keep going up and up and up, and you'll see as we get way over here, this is one continuous swipe, you'll see it is actually starting to have a little bit of a slant there. But if I start again at his feet and go out, you'll see it's now a new, and I'm holding down, I haven't let go yet, you'll see it's now a new one. And that's because it's creating a flat off of that location. So that's why you want to do it in little bits and pieces. So, okay, I want to flatten this area out. Excellent. Like I said, I go about eight steps out from the little guy. What is 8 steps? I don't know. I really don't know. But I just go out. Make certain you get it good, fairly flat. Again, there's no wrong way to play. If you want to leave a little bit of wrinkle in there, that's perfectly fine. Like I said, it actually makes it look a little more realistic, in my opinion, to have a little bit of a wrinkle. And then just go to the edge of what you started. Make certain you're getting more or less on one of the flat bits, not the edges. Go ahead and see underneath the little square there, there's a little tiny white circle. The tiny little white circle, that's the actual point. So that is the elevation that it will pick to start this plane at. And then you just start going out again from his feet. You'll notice if I back up, look, it's making it uneven. Why? Because this elevation is actually slightly higher than the elevation I started at. So that's why that happens. So that's the horizontal use of the terrain tool. What about the vertical? So you'll notice you can also get it to appear like this now. Notice how I have the little plane that's being shown is now perpendicular to the surface of the planet. This is a little more complex and a little more picky to use. Maybe more a little touchy is the better term. It will create a plane that is perpendicular from somewhere on your Astroneer's body, I haven't figured out exactly where, to that point. So if I were to go way up here and click, you'll see it goes straight up and down. So when I say a plane that is perpendicular, in a radial pattern, I don't know. I'm not a good. I love geometry, but I don't remember the proper terms. A radial pattern that is parallel to the surface of the planet. You won't create a dome, but it will create, as you can see evidence from earlier, it will create a circle. So you can see, look at that. Now it will not create a dome. That would have been really cool if it did do that, if it had created a dome, but it doesn't. But you can get this kind of a circular thing. I'm curious what I'm going to do with all this now. It's far enough from my base that I don't worry about it too much. But This could be used to get you a wall that looks sort of perpendicular. The way I've used it in the past, and you may have saw, you do have to have plenty of soil to create that because you're dropping soil off. So let me reclaim some of this soil. I'm gonna be a Ronald Reagan here and claim, tear down this wall. Sir Kuros Paladin, please tear down this wall. Okay, I shouldn't claim Sir because I am not a knight. So we're gonna go ahead and reclaim some of the soil, get rid of this eyesore. We're gonna leave a little bit here. So this can be useful to give you a sort of flat surface, vertical surface. So as I said before, it gives you something that is more or less perpendicular to a ray from your Astroneer, probably the center of his axis, to the point that you are on. And if you just go ahead and hold, but you don't move the thing, just hold. Here's where it becomes difficult. And I already messed up because I hit the wrong button, so let's do this again. You can sort of do this a little bit. This episode's going a little bit long, and it's turning into a bit of a tutorial. Now, go into here. You want to turn off the alignment mod, but kind of remember where this is at. Turn off the alignment mod, come back, go here, bring it back up again, and now, if you nailed that same one, you should have a wall. If you nailed the right one, you should have a wall that is more or less a 90 degree, perpendicular to the pull of gravity. You should. Once you get it large enough, you don't have to. Oh, you know what? I totally messed up because I forgot to How many of you caught that? How many of you caught that? I forgot. I didn't re-enable the alignment mod. Let's try this one more time. Oh, by the way, point to click, as I call it, kind of gets your camera back, so you don't get that little camera dance. For those of you, it drives me nuts when, like right there, I'm not doing anything. The camera just moved on its own. That kind of drives me nuts. Point to click will sort of get that back to normal for you, and you shouldn't get any movement from the camera after you point to click, as it were. So anyhow, we've got this enabled. Let's do it one more time. So what I usually do is see the top of his backpack right there. I try to get right in the middle of it where he's starting to look both directions. That's what I usually aim in on. Dial right in on that. It's okay to move around a little bit on that. Alright, just a little bit. And then, oh no, I did do this right. I'm not paying attention to my own instructions. I was not paying attention to my own instructions. Yeah, you do want to disable it. Sorry folks, I haven't had dinner yet. So there you go. And then you'll have a wall that is more or less perpendicular to the surface of the planet. There's probably other videos out there that show you how to do this using other methods. They're ones that seem a little more touchy and finicky, where you're raising land, lowering land. This one works for me. If you have an idea that works, let me know in the comments below. I would really like to know if there are better ways. And here's the one that I'd like to figure out if somebody has an idea. Ceilings. I want to figure out how to get flat ceilings that are parallel to the floor. I know you can do that way over at the gateway chambers. I don't want to build on top of gateway chambers. I want to build where I'm at. I don't want my limitation to be, it must be on a gateway chamber. Yeah, I can do that with leveling blocks easily. No, I want to build a perpendicular wall right here. Right here. I don't care. Um, and I'm sure there are videos out there on YouTube. I haven't seen one yet, so I'm not claiming that I know the answer to this. This is how I do it. Um, so, as you've seen, I am very, very OCD. I like to have my rails look nice. I like to have my base look sort of clean. But if you look, you can see this is not perfectly flat, this surface. So it has those little bumps and such. And, well, ground usually does. Otherwise, it's just concrete. And I like to think my little guy's wandering around on grass right now. Yeah, it's tundra. I'm sorry, it's, I think the planet used to be called Tundra long ago. Yeah, it's, Glacio, and it's all frozen. But, you know, it's a game of fiction. I'm terraformed. So this is grass. It's just grass that grows in really cold weather. And of course the ground's going to be a little bumpy. So why not, right? But it is flat. There we go. Alright, I have gone on way long. If there's something more you'd like to know about how I play the game, what I do, how I accomplish certain things, or if you even have something that you look at in here and say, hey, Curls, this would be kind of cool if you tried this. Let me know in the comments below. You all have given me some good ideas in the past. Some of them I've looked at, and it's not that I've discounted them. I haven't figured out how to do it. So, you know, I do like the ideas. And I'm not going to claim that it was my idea. I know that, you know, I'm not one of those. I'm not one of those. I think I mentioned before, somebody just ripped off my auto sorter, a very, very popular YouTuber for Astroneer. Literally, if you go watch his video on his sorting facility, it is a carbon copy of mine. And that really kind of disappointed me because I do not know if he's copied mine, but I know I had that idea 2 years ago, 3 years ago at least. And for him to be putting it out there, it just really bugged me. I don't know if he saw mine and just decided, oh, nobody knows who this Kuros Paladin guy is. I'm just going to steal his idea. Well, they do say great writers borrow and excellent, absolutely great writers outright steal. Well, this guy is one of those. So, I will never claim that this that I'm doing here is original. If somebody else has done it, excellent. They thought of it too. Who knows? Maybe somebody had the auto sorting facility before I did, but I hadn't seen anything since then. The other one I'm waiting to drop, and this is my editorial at this point. The other one I'm waiting to drop is my block protection system with the rails. Again, I only have less than 300 subscribers. Every one of you, thank you. These other people have thousands of subscribers, tens of thousands. All it takes is for one of them to see my idea, say, hey, that's a really great idea, and implement it in theirs, and then everybody thinks it was their idea first. And if I see my block protection system being used by somebody, I am going to call them out on it. Because that, you know, if they claim it's their idea, I'm going to call them out on it because I did actually put it over in Discord, the Astroneer Discord, of the video that explained my block protection system. So that's kind of my proof that, hey, this was my idea. And it's not that I'm trying to gain... I don't like the idea of people stealing other people's ideas and claiming it was theirs. If it wasn't your idea, at least give credit where credit is due. So, hey, sorting facility, that was my idea. The block protection system, that was my idea. They even showed off on the other one where the train, if it comes to... I know I have all these great things and I want to talk about them. Or if a train does find out somehow it's in an area that it should not be. I was really proud of this one. It would actually get to a block that it shouldn't be in, And it would stop, it would back up to a siding and wait for whatever train it was that was in the area to clear that area. And then it would come back and it would continue on its merry way. That was another one that I was really proud of. I really, these logistics, I really think they're great, and they make automation of trains work. I've said it before. Again, I'm editorializing here, but I'm also giving you guys ideas. There's no wrong way to play it, but here's what works for me. Don't let the stations make your decisions for you. Don't let the stations make your decisions for you. Don't let your stations make your decisions for you. All they're doing is sitting there. They shouldn't be calling cars. They shouldn't be making that decision because they can't decide what car will come to them. Let your cars, your trains, decide where they're going. I've seen some pretty good ideas out there. They're calling it a ticketing system. Whatever you call it, I would call it orders because that's what they really are. You have orders for a train, not tickets. And that works out really cool where the train, okay, I'm a resin train. But don't, when you start having the stations get involved with that, you're going to get a car you didn't want. Let the trains and cars decide where they're going, and the stations are their destinations. One thing that I have not figured out, I'm going really long with this episode, and I really hope you've stuck to me this long. You'll notice here I have two stations, terminuses actually. Termini? Anyhow. Because I haven't figured out how to get cars or trains to return in the direction they arrived from. Captain Clueless and I, the names of... Don't get me wrong, Captain Clueless is only socially clueless. And even that's a harsh term. But he's an electrical engineer, and he works for one of the big three. He's really brilliant with designing electrical engineering systems. And he and I sat down for about 3.5, 4 hours. We couldn't figure out how to get trains to return in the same direction they arrived. This was before an update that System Arrow put out where they admitted, I think it was the left side as you're facing the station, these were not triggering properly. The right side was triggering properly, the left side wasn't. Or it was vice versa. Whichever one it was, one of the two sides wasn't triggering properly. They said they fixed it. We haven't gone back and re-examined it. Again, maybe somebody on YouTube, one of these content creators, has a video out there that shows you how to do it. I haven't found one yet. To be honest, I haven't looked. But that's why I have them as termini, because I don't want the station to figure it out. I want the train to figure it out. Hey, I came from the east. I want to return to the west. I'm sorry. I came from the east. I want to return east. I came from the west. I want to return west. Whatever it was, that's what I want the train to do. If you have an idea, I'd love to hear it, and I'm always willing to go into a creative mode save, and anybody is welcome to join me and sit down. I've had two other great people join me. One of them, Paladin, Ironic, that's his name. And forgive me, I cannot remember your name. I helped you. We tried to figure stuff out, and that was before the bug was fixed. We were trying to figure out the same thing, how to have a train go back the way it came from. You and I sat in a save for about an hour and a half trying to figure it out. I love doing that. I love the collaboration. I love creative mode for doing that kind of stuff. And if you want to try and figure something out, if you have an idea and you want a second set of eyes or a second brain that might not be as smart as you, I'm always willing to help you with that. I can be your cardboard analyst, as they call it. If you don't know what a cardboard analyst is, I call them plush analysts because at my office, at work, I have 4 plush Shovel Knight figures, Black Knight, King Knight, Shovel Knight, and Big Shovel Knight, and they're my cardboard analysts. When I can't solve a problem, I talk to them. What is it that's not working? And oftentimes, just by talking to somebody, you figure out the problem. That's a cardboard analyst. So, folks, I have gone really long. I started with a showcase, I turned into a tutorial, into an editorial, and then into an invitation that if you are willing to try things new, or you just, whatever it is, let me know. You can reach me on Discord. My channel is Kuros Paladin. That is also my handle. Just look for me. With the recent update to Discord, I think you can find me just by the name now. Go ahead, send me a direct message. Let me know what you think. You can also join the server. I don't believe it's an invite only. I will check those settings. Right now, it's just a server that's mostly my real-life friends and a couple of online friends. But I do want to start getting a little bit more going on, where people can collaborate and talk about Astroneer. And really, just more having fun with it and figuring automation out. Everybody, I'm trying to figure out where I want to end the episode. I guess right here is good. So everybody, thanks again. I really hope you had a good time. Chuck, Todd, and I will get back together and start playing again. We will. Come one way or another, I'm going to get them all together. Our schedules just are not working out. We will continue because we have a lot to do in that save. And also, I think they're having fun. I really hope they're having fun. And I hope you are as well. I love this game system era. You have a gem on your hands here. This is such a fun game. And I think you've made you've really changed the image that these games have. You really have. This game has the elements of Minecraft, but a detail much greater. I call it cute because, this little guy, he's cute. Look at him. He's so cute. Whereas a Minecraft, it's intentional. Minecraft is the way it is. But here it's voxel based, but things don't look like voxels. Everything is so soft. Your UI is so beautiful. There is no UI. Look at this. It's so beautiful. You've got a real gem here, System Era. Thank you so much for creating such an awesome game that has allowed me to spend close to 2,000 hours over the past, oh my goodness, I don't know how many years I've been playing it. I think it was 2017 that I started playing. I don't remember. But a long time. And I loved every minute of it. Oh, okay, maybe a couple months I haven't. I hope every one of you out there enjoys this game at some level near that. If you're not having fun, I've always said, play the game to have fun. Don't do what other people tell you. These have all been just suggestions. If you're trying to figure things out, have fun. That's the thing about a game. Don't turn it into a chore. Set goals for yourself. There's open-ended goals, and then you can build a base. Like, hey, all I care about in this save is a base. You saw my bases. They're functional, and yet at the same time, they're aesthetically pleasing to me. If you enjoy automation, go for it. In fact, I love some of the automation stuff I see out there. I love it. And if you have something you want to show to people, let me know. I want to see what you've done with automation. Because what I've done, nothing compared to what I've seen out there. This is such a great game. So, all right, everybody. I hear my clock in the background. You might hear it as well. I started when that chimed 7 p.m. Here it is, 8 p.m., so it's time for me to go. I've been recording much longer than I wanted to. That's probably the 4th or 5th time I've said that. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, kids of all ages, I will see you in the next episode of Astroneer. Take care, and bye.